You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. Hey, Captain, leave my name out of this. I've been an every night heavy beer drinker. Since 18, I just turned 30. I have never had cravings for alcohol during the workday and therefore never considered myself an alcoholic. I have a great career in IT, but when work is over, I go home. Drinking has always helped me stay content with the boredom. That's you hit it right there. Boredom. This nightly habit has finally caught up with me, as I am now told by my doctors that my liver is damaged and we don't know the extent yet. That is horrible, dude. I feel real bad for you. But me being an alcoholic, wrestling with alcohol myself, the boredom, and it almost is like, is the boredom, is living a boring life worth the extended life expectancy? And a lot of times, like, oh shit, no, dude. So I understand where you're coming from. Plus, alcohol is fun. I've found that not only a majority of the coworkers I've known in the IT field are heavy drinkers, but but also I've seen it in senior VP, and owner levels of the companies I've worked for. What are your thoughts on the correlation between high IQ people, non-normies, company executives, and the prevalence of alcoholism? So, all right, so I went up, I did two things. One, looked up to see if there was any research, and then two, just get researches and everything, because as time goes on, there's always a study for something. You can find a study to prove one thing or the other, because academia is completely fucking worthless. But trying to do as best research as I can. When it comes to intelligence, the data is non-conclusive. There's a bunch of different studies. Stupid people drink more, dumb people drink more, normal people drink more. It just doesn't seem to be any conclusive proof or data. And so there's nothing I can say about intelligence, because you can think about it like, okay, from your perspective, it's like, gosh, like if you were me, you would drink at parties just so you could tolerate it, or you could just take a break and clock out from the world for a little bit. But it's not like, the below average factory worker who has a shitty life and a shitty wife and kids he can barely afford. Like, he ain't down at the bar drinking at the VFW either. So I would have to say, instead of looking at empirical data, I got to look at my own eyes. There are groups within all the different intelligence levels that I would say more for financial reasons, in case you're poor, that you drink to have your problems go away. But as you get more intelligent, it's other problems you are trying to escape. Boredom, especially among high, and not like the 110Z, 115Z, but once you start breaking two standard deviations and you truly are a freak, and like, I'll be at the bar and there will be, I wrote about this, the sports channel, ESPN, Sports Center, whatever, and it's these dumb, fucking inferior fucks on the TV. Well, what do you think about Jim's trade with Mickey Mick? And and it's like, you want to reach across and strangle these people, and in part because, like, you damn well know that what you're talking about is fucking stupid, it's pointless, you shouldn't be on the show. And then you're like, want to squeeze even tighter, saying, oh my god, you don't know. You actually think you're intelligent, and you have some kind of point and purpose. It's like, take them out of the gene pool. So I could see, as you get much more intelligent, or statistically odd in any way that deviates too much from society, you go to war, you are an incredible athlete, then you retire, you have all this fame and glory, and it's like, oh, what now? Oh, you got booze and drugs. Not a coincidence that it plagues the entertainment industry more than the average bear. What else? You go through a divorce or something really takes a toll on your life. But in terms of intelligence, I can see once you get too statistically far from the norm, you cannot deal with it. And some people cope with it by becoming hermits. Some people cope with it, they just read books. You, me, Bill Burr's another perfect example. They cope with the boredom because you're just like, where do I find people that are really intelligent? And you just don't find them. You just don't find them. So that's why I would say with intelligence. Corporate executives, they do drink more, but not necessarily for the stress. That might be it, but the primary determining factor there is that they have more money. That's it. So now they can afford that fine scotch. They don't need to drink the beer swill. They can afford this. They can afford that. The other thing with corporate executives is their time constraints. If you're a regular 9-to-5 guy, you got another 8 hours a day to kill. So you could pursue hobbies and things like volleyball or extracurricular activities or sports or video games or whatever else. Or you got your kids or something like that. If you're a corporate executive, you're working 10, 12-hour days, and there's not that much free time left. You just don't have that much time. And so what a lot of corporate executives do, especially if you're in the downtown area, there's not a lot of volleyball courts in downtown, but there are a shit ton of bars. And so drinking is fast and efficient. Like, you don't have to drive out to a volleyball court, put on, and find people to, and then play for a couple hours. It's such a time saver. It's like, nope, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do 3 martinis, then I'm going to take a taxi cab home or go to my downtown condo. And that can be done in an hour or two. You're relaxed, you're chilled out. So that's another thing with corporate executives. But what they were thinking with figuring out with corporate executives, and it's not necessarily corporate executives, it's people that make over $75,000 a year. Is that as you make more and more money, you start as an assistant VP, then you're a VP, then you're a senior VP, then you're a corporate, CEO something, or you're some one of the CEOs. Once you hit even assistant VP, you're making good money. And then you could afford this. You could afford a taxi cab ride. And it becomes more of an addiction over time. So it's not like we're dude bro party guys and then we're like, yeah, let's continue it on, although that does happen. It's also they can afford it. And it slowly enters its way, and all of a sudden some just become heavy drinkers and they can stop. Others they become full-blown alcoholics and become addicted. That's what I found with the corporate executives. But then when it comes to IT, I couldn't find any research on that. They didn't delve down. I got a bunch of nerd drinks. Oh, here's some nerd drinks. Like IT nerds, computer professionals. Couldn't find anything, but there might be some similarities there. You guys make more money, so you have more money, so you could afford to drink. If you're working a lot, again, you kind of have a similar schedule as a corporate executive, where you don't have time to go play volleyball or run, so let's just go get drinks. And by the way, let's not kid anybody. A lot of people in the IT world ain't exactly going running or hitting the volleyball court. You guys just prefer to sit there and drink and play your video games. And again, then that becomes an addiction over time. Or even if it wasn't an addiction, you don't have to be addicted to have alcohol hurt your internal organs. So then it gets you, what are your thoughts on the correlation between high-income people, non-normies, company executives, and the prevalence of alcoholism? I would say you hit it right here on non-normies. Doesn't mean that you're going to go become an alcoholic. But non-normies got to cope with the normies and these fucking tards somehow. Some people, it's, they go work out. They pick up a good habit. They go work out a lot. Some people just dedicate themselves to work or their studies. You become the nutty professor. Other people, they become hermits. But alcohol is it's a very easy and incredibly effective tool, and cheap and fast to knock yourself out. You just don't have to worry about it. And that's a lot of the times where I found myself drinking. Is I get all my work done. I didn't even work out. I got it all done. And, doing rather well here. I'm not rich. I don't make no $75,000 a year. But, I'm frugal. I paid off my house. I live in, always lived in a basement or a small place in rental property. And then all of a sudden, you ain't got no kids. Like, oh, what the fuck do you do? And it's like, hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to no, Clary, we're working. And then you're just like, which is also coincidentally, here's something that maybe you want to think about. When I go motorcycle riding or mountain climbing, when I'm out west, I barely drink. I don't drink anymore. But my point is, when I have something to do and I'm engaged, then your mind is engaged and you don't drink, or you don't go back to whatever you're using as a crutch. So, I mean, going forward, you obviously have to stop drinking. You just have to. Cold turkey, you have to. I know this sounds odd. I mean, go to AA, man. Get some good hobbies. Go find some people. Even if it means going out to a discussion. Like, I would be going to seminars on shit even I didn't like, just to get out of the house. Leave the house. That's another thing. You just got to leave the house. It's another reason I want to probably get out. You know, why I want to get out of Minnesota and sell my place and get the hell out of Dodge. But what was it? Poor Richard's Retirement. Even though it's a book about retirement, what it is really is a book about addiction and how to end your addiction to consumer spending, and replacing it with love for human beings. But I go through addiction to sugar, alcohol, drugs, all this other stuff that may be of benefit to you. But yeah, you gotta stop drinking. You gotta turn that around today, yesterday, a week ago, and you gotta get some hobbies. And it's hard. It's real hard to go out there and find adequate numbers of people that are interesting and at your intelligence level, that also have the free time. Because it doesn't sound like you got kids. You sound, somewhat similar to me. It's hard, and I won't lie to you. And it gets depressing. Like when you can't, you go like, "Hey, what's going on? Anybody?" You're like, "Fuck." Then you go home, you're even worse. But I found running, cardio, hiking, obviously motorcycling, but you got to be out west and it's got to be warm for that. But yeah, but stop drinking would be the number one thing, which I know is simple, but it isn't. But yeah, you got to stop drinking. That's how it works. So, all right, that's all we got. You guys got questions? The old Captain's got answers at ASOconsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.